Уважаемые коллеги, здравствуйте еще раз.
Dear colleagues, very good afternoon once again. We continue the Laws of Future forum, and now we will have several keynote experts intervening that will share their visions on the relevant issues of AI ethics and AI regulation. We'll start with our distinguished Chinese colleagues, Professor Zeng, who is one of the leading professionals on AI ethics in PRC, who is a professor at the Chinese Automation Institute. He represents China at Colmist and at UNESCO, so with huge pleasure, we hand over to him.
Great honor to speak in the conference. So my topic for today is responsible AI, deep coordination between sustainable development and governance for artificial intelligence. I think when we have national AI strategies, I think it's really essential to have a vision to them. So like in Stanford and in Japan, people are proposing human-centered AI or human-centric or humanistic AI, where you put human into the center. But at EU, people prefer to use the word trustworthy AI to earn trustworthiness from human to AI. But actually in UAE, people prefer a lot on AI for sustainable development. And also in Future Flight Institute and MIT, people prefer to use beneficial AI. In China, we're going for responsible AI to coordinate the governance and sustainable development of AI really going into the future. So we analyze all the AI principles worldwide. You will find that no matter which countries they're from, actually they're quite similar. They share many topics for humans, sustainability, for fairness, transparency, privacy, security and safety, and accountability. Very few of them talk about long-term AI, that is AI, that is artificial general intelligence and also super intelligence. But I think we need this kind of long-term plannings. But also we can find that people are trying to use different views in certain topics. They have their own perspectives, but actually these kind of very different perspectives that does not really compete with each other. Actually, they're actually completing each other in a way that they're very complementary. So, for example, when we are talking about fairness, people may use the word justice, bias, discrimination, and prejudice, but actually they have their own position to talk about fairness. So this is why we need a worldview to complement each other. So I think there's no competition in the field of AI ethics and governance. What we need is really different viewpoints to complement each other to form the global landscape. In China, it's like 2 years ago, we have the governance principles for the new generation AI, developing responsible AI. Right there, this is our national strategy on AI governance. So we actually propose not only some commonly agreed topics such as fairness and justice, respect for privacy, or safety and controllability, but also we're proposing living harmony and human-friendly. This is with more Asian Chinese philosophy, but also a worldview to put all the efforts together to have human and AI to live in harmony, and also live in harmony among various countries. We need open collaboration and agile governance. So this year, it's like a month ago, we released the ethical norms for the new generation AI. That is a detailed ethical design for the new generation artificial intelligence strategy in China. So when we have the AI ethical principles, it's really essential to put them into the all life cycles of AI, that is management, research, and development, and also supply and use. you cannot only have ethics by design, you should have AI ethics into the whole AI lifecycle. So for us, we think that the relationship between sustainable development and governance is really that they're not really who is going to be prioritized or to compete with each other. Actually, their relationship is to coordinate, deep coordination to achieve the goal of sustainable AI for human and the ecology good. We need sustainable AI, not that only that we need tools that is sustainably to be designed, but also to use AI to achieve the goals, the 17 pillars of sustainable development, to use AI as an enabling technology to achieve that. By using AI in these 17 pillars, it does not mean you're really contributing to SDGs. For example, you can use facial recognition in education, but it does not mean you're contributing to sustainable development goals. Because something like emotion recognition in the classroom is a very ill-designed topic, and also application happened somewhere in the world. It happened in China, and then later in America, and later in EU. That people are using facial recognition and emotion recognition to judge whether students are focused or not. This is, to me, this is one of the most horrible design that I could imagine, because it does not only have negative effects to the personal privacy of those students, but also have long-term negative impact to their lives. Just think about a scenario that starting from their kindergarten, they're having similar technologies within their classroom, and after 15 years, maybe they're going to college, and then you want to persuade them to go for artificial intelligence as a profession. They may say, no, I don't like that because this kind of technology has been spying on me for more than 15 years, and now you want them to choose as a profession. I think this is not so wise design, horrible design, actually. For example, we can use facial recognition to avoid cyberbullying and campus bullying. The core in here and the essential part is really how you can make a balance between privacy preservation and protection of the next generation. So you could have a design saying that you do not record the details when there are no abnormal behavior happened. But when there are bullying happening, you could have automatic detection and then to show the detailed recording for the bullying events. Otherwise, there's no video recording. So I think this is more ethical and responsible design when you have AI in the schools. So talking about other pillars, we want to use AI to actually flourish the cultural interactions. We have cultural heritages everywhere, but actually AI can be used as an enabling technology to link all the cultural heritage sites worldwide so that you find the commonalities of those cultural heritages, and you also find the differences. But what's more importantly is really that how they are linked together by using AI. For example, you can actually find the commonalities between the imperial palace of the Ming and Qing dynasty in Beijing and Shenyang in China, and the similarities shared between Lagrange Place in Brussels. So I think this could be a fascinating scenario that we can go for. This is what we call the cultural interactions engine. Also, we want to use AI to contribute to the carbon efficiency. So this is our project on carbon efficiency observatory. It analyzes all the major AI algorithms and models on their carbon emission. When using them in different economic requirements or many other experiments, we have to keep in mind about their carbon emission so that you're making a balance not only to benefit from the AI services, but also to have an eye on their carbon emission. I want to talk a little bit more on ethics washing. People in the industry are always talking about AI ethics for now, especially for those giant companies. But what's really happening is that they may have ethical principles, but these principles are not deeply rooted and grounded into their development and deployment team. So you will always find that their ethics research team sometimes actually fighting with their development team. This is horrible. The right way to do is really to have multi-stakeholder proactive AI governance for responsible AI, so that you put AI ethical principles into the whole life cycle, together with the development and deployment team. And as always, you should have government, academia, civil society, and media interacting not only to the ethics research team, but also to the development, deployment, and design team together to form the whole life cycle, ethical design, research, and deployment. I think this is the right way to go to have grounding of AI ethics. To have a little bit help on that, we developed AI governance online as free service for everyone to go through your system or design on whether they're ethically designed and implemented. Finally, I would like to go for the topic that we have to have another view for the relationship among human and AI. In Japan, people prefer a partner, the role of partner in the society for AI. But in most Western countries, people go for tools. But for artificial general intelligence, whether it would be partners or competitors to the societies really depend on whether we're having a responsible design and implementation of AI. And finally, we wanted to have the future sustainable symbiotic society as a society with human, animals, AI, and other living beings together with the environment to really have the future together. With all that, I thank you for your attention.